There's a version of you that has been living rent-free in your mind for far too long. A version that hides when life gets tough. That crumbles under the smallest amount of pressure. That says, maybe tomorrow when opportunity knocks today. You know exactly who I'm talking about? The you that chooses the couch over the grind, the excuses over action, the comfort over growth. This version is not just holding you back. It's stealing your life one lazy decision at a time. And here's the truth most people will never tell you. As long as this version lives, your dreams will die. You've carried this weak self for years, maybe decades. It has whispered in your ear, convincing you that you're not ready, that you're not good enough, that you can't. And maybe at some point you believed it. But deep down, you've always known there was more inside you. More strength, more power, more potential. That potential has been suffocating under the weight of fear, procrastination, and excuses. This audiobook is your final warning to that weaker self. It will not survive what is about to happen here. Think of this as an execution notice. Not a negotiation. Not a warning shot. An execution. You will stand face to face with the side of you that has been your greatest enemy, not the economy, not your boss, not your past, but you. You will strip it of every justification, every excuse, every lie it has used to survive. And when it begs for mercy, you will give it none. Why? Because mercy for weakness is cruelty to your future. You see, there's a stronger, sharper, unstoppable version of you waiting to take control. But that version cannot rise until the weaker one is gone. They cannot coexist. One will always sabotage the other. So this is a purge, a violent, deliberate removal of everything in you that bows to comfort, that avoids pain, that refuses to fight. The moment you decide to kill that version, everything changes. Your mind, your body, your habits, your destiny. So if you're here for soft words, you won't find them. If you're looking for motivation that lasts 5 minutes, you're in the wrong place. This is war. A war for your potential. A war for your life. And in this war, there will be no survivors on the enemy's side. The weak you will not live to see tomorrow. This audiobook is your weapon. Each chapter will be a bullet, a blade, a strike aimed at the heart of that old self. And by the time you're done listening, the only version of you left standing will be the strongest you've ever known. Chapter 1, The Enemy Within. You've fought many battles in your life. Against deadlines. Against doubters. Against circumstances you never asked for. But the truth, the brutal truth, is that your greatest battle has never been with the outside world. Your most dangerous opponent has been living inside your skin, speaking with your voice and thinking your thoughts. This opponent is sly. It knows your fears, your insecurities, your weak points, and it uses them against you every single day. This opponent is the weak version of yourself. This weak version isn't some obvious villain dressed in black. No, it's charming. It's convincing. It knows how to disguise laziness as self-care and procrastination as waiting for the right moment. It whispers to you that comfort is happiness, that safety is success. And because it sounds like you believe it. You follow it. You obey it. And without even realizing it, you start building a life designed not for growth, but for survival. Think about your mornings. How many times have you set the alarm with good intentions, only to hit snooze, telling yourself you deserve 5 more minutes? That's not you making a rational decision. That's your weak self tightening its grip. That's the enemy within stealing your time, your energy, and your momentum before the day even begins. And each time you give in, you strengthen its control. This version of you avoids hard conversations, even when silence is killing your relationships. It chooses Netflix over building your dream. It says, "I'll start tomorrow," and repeats that mantra until months, or years, slip away. It thrives in your hesitation. It thrives in your comfort. And the more you listen to it, the further you drift from the person you were meant to become. Here's the part that hurts. The weak self isn't just holding you back, it's stealing your potential. Every time you choose easy over hard, you're voting for who you'll be in the future. You're telling the universe, "I prefer the smaller, quieter, weaker version of myself." And the universe listens. It shapes your life according to the votes you cast with your actions. It's important to understand that the weak self is not something you were born with, it's something you've built. Every skipped workout, every avoided challenge, every broken promise to yourself, it's all bricks in the wall that keeps you trapped in the life you've settled for. But here's the good news. If you built it, you can destroy it. This enemy survives because you've allowed it to blend into your identity. You've accepted its voice as your own. When it says, I can't, you agree. When it says, it's too hard, you nod. When it says, later, you trust it. The first step toward killing the weak version of yourself is to separate you from it. You are not your weakness. You are not your fear. You are the fighter that has been buried beneath layers of comfort and compromise. Imagine for a moment that you could stand face to face with this weaker version of yourself. Picture it, slouched posture, tired eyes, excuses dripping from its mouth. Does this person inspire you? Would you follow them? Would you let them lead your family, your team, your life? The answer is no. And yet, every day you allow that version to sit in the driver's seat. The weak self is a master of patience. It's a no rush. It will wait for you to get tired. It will wait for you to feel discouraged. It will wait until your motivation fades, and then it will step in to convince you that maybe this isn't for you. If you don't become conscious of it, it will be there until your very last breath, proud of the fact that it kept you from living fully. From this moment on, you must see the weak version of yourself for what it truly is: a thief, a liar, a silent assassin of your dreams. This chapter isn't about destroying it just yet. That comes later. This chapter is about exposing it, stripping away its disguises, and recognizing that the first and greatest enemy you'll ever face lives inside you. And unless you kill it, it will kill the life you could have had. Chapter 2: The Cost of Staying Weak. Weakness doesn't ruin your life overnight. It's a slow, silent killer. It chips away at your potential one small compromise at a time. You skip the workout just for today. You let fear stop you from speaking up, just this once. You choose comfort over progress, telling yourself you'll start tomorrow. But weakness has a way of making tomorrow disappear. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and before you realize it, years have passed and you are still in the same place, or worse, further behind. The cost of staying weak is not just stagnation. It's the quiet, creeping theft of your entire future. Every time you give in to weakness, you make a trade. You exchange progress for comfort. You exchange long-term gain for short-term relief. You choose the easy path, but the easy path always leads to the hard life. That's the cruel irony. Avoiding discomfort today builds mountains of regret for tomorrow. You may not feel the full weight of that trade instantly, but you will. Weakness always sends the bill, and when it arrives, it's far more expensive than you imagined. Think about the opportunities you've already missed because weakness made you hesitate. That job you didn't apply for. That skill you didn't learn. That chance you didn't take. Weakness whispers in your ear, "You're not ready. You're not good enough." And you believe it. Meanwhile, someone else, maybe less talented, less gifted than you, steps up and claims the reward that could have been yours. Weakness doesn't just keep you from winning, it allows others to take your place. There's a brutal truth most people can't accept. Weakness robs you of self-respect. Every time you quit early, every time you make an excuse, you know deep down that you could have done more. You feel it when you lie awake at night, staring at the ceiling. That nagging voice telling you that you let yourself down isn't there to torture you, it's there to warn you. Because the more times you choose weakness, the quieter that voice gets. And that's not a good thing. That silence means you've stopped expecting more from yourself. You've settled. Weakness also infects the way people see you. Whether you realize it or not, others notice when you avoid hard work, when you fold under pressure, when you talk about goals you never pursue. They might not call you out, but they adjust their expectations downward. You go from someone they believe in to someone they tolerate. You stop being the person people count on and become the one they quietly avoid relying on. Weakness makes you invisible to opportunities because no one bets on someone who quits. And let's talk about relationships. Weakness doesn't just affect your career or personal goals, it poisons your connections with others. If you are weak in your discipline, you are likely weak in your commitments. You cancel plans. You break promises. You fail to show up when people need you. Eventually, people stop trusting you. They might still smile at you, but they won't lean on you because deep down, they know you might not be there when it matters most. Financially, weakness is devastating. It keeps you stuck in jobs you hate because you're too afraid to take risks. It stops you from learning new skills because it's too hard or takes too long. It convinces you that you can't start that business, make that investment, or chase that opportunity. And while you stay in your comfort zone, your earning potential rots away. Decades later, you find yourself working harder for less, all because you were too weak to plant the seeds when you had the chance. Physically, the cost is even clearer. Weakness convinces you to skip the gym, to eat what's easy instead of what's healthy. Over time, your energy drops, your strength fades, and your body starts to break down earlier than it should. You don't just lose your health, you lose your confidence, your vitality, and your ability to live fully. And here's the worst part. By the time you feel the damage, it's already years too late to undo it completely. But perhaps the greatest cost of staying weak is the version of yourself you'll never meet. Somewhere inside you is the stronger, bolder, more capable version of who you could be. A version that could have led, inspired, and built something extraordinary. A version that could have been remembered. Weakness ensures that version never gets a chance to live. Instead, you remain in the shadow of what you could have been, haunted by the question, what if I had been stronger? If you take nothing else from this chapter, take this. Weakness doesn't just take away your present, it steals your future before it even happens. Every day you let it run your life is a day you will never get back. And one day when you're older, you'll wish you had fought harder when you had the energy, the time, and the chance. The cost of staying weak is too high. The only thing more painful than the struggle to become strong is the regret of realizing you never tried. Chapter 3: Your Breaking Point. There comes a moment in every person's life when the mirror stops lying. You look at yourself, not the carefully staged version for social media, not the smiling face you show to strangers, but the real you. And for the first time you see the truth. You see the wasted potential. You see the time you've thrown away. You see the promises you made to yourself and never kept. It's a moment of pure, unfiltered honesty, and it hits like a punch to the gut. That's your breaking point. That's when you can no longer pretend you're fine. Most people drift through life without ever truly confronting themselves. They bury their dissatisfaction under distractions. Netflix, gossip, endless scrolling, anything to avoid looking at the reality of their situation. But life has a way of forcing the truth out. Sometimes it's a sudden tragedy. Sometimes it's losing a job. Sometimes it's watching someone else achieve what you've been dreaming about for years while you've done nothing but talk. In that instant, the comfortable fog lifts, and the light of reality is blinding. The breaking point doesn't always come with fireworks. Sometimes it's quiet. You wake up one morning, look around your messy room, feel the heaviness in your chest, and realize you've been stuck for years. You think about the goals you set last New Year's, and you can't name a single one you actually accomplished. That silent moment is just as deadly because it's the slow death of your spirit. It's the awareness that if nothing changes, this will be your life forever. But here's the thing, your breaking point is not the end of your story. It's the beginning. It's the moment where weakness and strength meet at a crossroads, and you have to choose which one to follow. Weakness will tell you to numb the pain, to avoid change, to go back to the safety of your old habits. Strength will whisper, sometimes so quietly you can barely hear it, enough. Get up. Let's move. And that whisper is the most important voice you'll ever hear in your life. When you reach your breaking point, your emotions will try to convince you that you're powerless. They'll remind you of every past failure, every mistake, every time you said you'd change and didn't. But the truth is, you've never been more powerful than in this moment, because pain is fuel. Pain makes you pay attention. Pain forces you to see what comfort has been hiding from you all along. Your breaking point is a doorway, and only you can decide whether to walk through it. Think about the people you admire, the ones who transformed their lives. Every single one of them had a breaking point. They didn't just feel like changing one day. They reached a moment when staying the same became unbearable. When the thought of living one more day as their old self felt like a betrayal. And in that moment, they decided they'd rather face the uncertainty of change than the certainty of regret. That's the choice you face now. Your breaking point will test you. It will strip away all the convenient excuses you've been hiding behind. It will reveal the uncomfortable truth. No one is coming to save you. Not your parents. Not your friends. Not luck. The world doesn't hand out transformation, it demands it. And in this moment you either rise or you sink. That's it. There is no middle ground, no waiting period, no magical alignment of the stars. This is why some people's lives change overnight. Not because they got lucky, but because they reached that point where they said, I'm done. And they meant it. They burned the bridges back to their old life. They stopped entertaining the habits, the people, and the mindsets that kept them weak. They killed the weak version of themselves and refused to mourn it. If you want to change, you have to be willing to do the same. Here's the hard truth. If you're waiting for the perfect time to change, your weak self has already won. That version of you will always find a reason to delay. I'll start Monday. I'll start next month. I'll start when I feel ready. but you'll never feel ready. Readiness is a myth created by people who never start. The only real readiness is deciding to act now, while the fire of your breaking point is still burning inside you. So when you hit that wall, when you feel like you've had enough, don't run from it. Don't numb it. Don't distract yourself. Sit with that pain. Let it burn. Let it remind you why you can't keep living like this. And then take the first step. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be big. It just has to be now. Because this moment, your breaking point, is your chance to bury the weakest version of yourself and begin the life you were meant to live. Chapter 4: Destroying Excuses. Excuses are the polished lies we tell ourselves to feel comfortable staying the same. They sound reasonable. They sound convincing. But in truth, they are nothing but chains that keep us tied to mediocrity. The reason excuses feel so believable is because they appeal to our desire for comfort. They whisper, "Not now, it's too hard, you deserve a break." And for a moment it feels good to agree. But here's the truth: excuses are thieves. They don't just steal your time, they steal your potential, your future, and your chance at the life you keep dreaming about. Think about it. Every time you've put something off, there was an excuse standing in the way. You told yourself you'd start tomorrow or next week or after the holidays. But then tomorrow came and you found a new reason to delay. This is the trap. The weak version of you doesn't fight excuses, it builds them. Every excuse you allow becomes a brick in the wall separating you from your goals. You can't climb that wall by building it higher. You must smash it to the ground. The most common excuse in the world is, "I don't have time." But the truth is, time is the most democratic resource on earth. Everyone gets the same 24 hours. The difference is how you use them. People who are winning in life aren't magically given extra hours. They simply prioritize what matters. When you say, "I don't have time," what you're really saying is, "It's not important enough to me." That's not a scheduling problem, it's a values problem. Another classic excuse: "I'm too tired." Yes, exhaustion is real, but so is discipline. Do you think elite athletes only train when they're well rested? Do you think successful entrepreneurs only work when they feel fresh? No. They move whether they're tired, busy, or stressed because their commitment is bigger than their mood. If you let tiredness control you, you've already surrendered the battle. Energy comes after action, not before it. Then there's the lie, "I'm not ready yet." This one is dangerous because it sounds like wisdom, but it's just fear in disguise. Waiting to be ready is like waiting for a storm to pass before learning how to swim. You will never feel completely ready to change your life. Growth is messy. Learning is uncomfortable. You get ready by starting, not by standing still. The people you admire didn't begin with confidence, they built it on the way. Excuses thrive in the shadows. As long as they remain unchallenged, they'll keep multiplying. This is why you must shine a harsh light on them. Write them down. Look at them. Ask yourself, is this a fact or just a story I'm telling myself? You'll be shocked how often your excuses collapse under honest inspection. The weak you hides from this truth. The strong you seeks it out. The danger of excuses isn't just in the delay, they rewire your brain to normalize quitting. Every time you use one, you teach yourself that it's okay to avoid the work. Over time, that becomes your default response to discomfort. And here's the terrifying part. You won't even notice it happening. One day you'll just wake up years later and wonder where your life went. Excuses are the slow poison of ambition. You must adopt a zero-tolerance policy for excuses. That means catching yourself in the act and replacing the excuse with action. Feel too tired to work out? Go anyway, if only for 10 minutes. Don't have the perfect equipment to start your business? Use what you have now. The goal isn't perfection, it's momentum. Small steps destroy big excuses, because action creates proof that you didn't need the excuse in the first place. Another way to kill excuses is accountability. Tell someone your goal and give them permission to call you out when you slack off. This isn't about shame, it's about truth. The weak version of you thrives in secrecy, where no one notices when you quit. The strong version operates in the open, knowing that external pressure can keep you moving when internal motivation fades. At the end of the day, excuses will either run your life or you will. There's no middle ground. The weak you wants to protect them like precious treasures. The strong you treats them like enemies of progress. The moment you stop defending your excuses and start destroying them, you'll feel something powerful. You'll feel control. And control is the beginning of transformation. So the next time you hear the voice of an excuse, don't reason with it. Don't debate with it. Just execute it. Chapter 5. The Funeral for the Old You. Every great transformation begins with a burial. Not of a body but of an identity. Right now there exists a version of you that is holding you back. A version that fears challenge, avoids discomfort, and trades potential for temporary relief. This version is the root of your procrastination, the source of your self-doubt, and the anchor tied to your ankle every time you try to move forward.
That version has been living rent-free in your mind for far too long. It's time to send it to the grave. This is not a metaphor for later. It's an execution order for today. Picture it, a dark, wooden coffin in front of you. The air is still. The only sound is the quiet thud of your own heartbeat. Inside that coffin lies the weaker you, the one who said, "I'll start tomorrow 1,000 times." The one who gave up halfway through every promise. The one who stayed silent when they should have spoken up. Look at that version lying there. This is not someone to mourn. This is someone who cost you opportunities, relationships, and years of progress. You cannot negotiate with this version. You cannot rehabilitate it. You cannot keep a piece of it for sentimental reasons. Because the truth is, if you leave even one small fragment of the weak self alive, it will find a way to spread again. Like weeds in a garden, like rust on steel, it will return stronger if you don't kill it completely. Weakness is not a pet to tame. It's a disease to eliminate. Now imagine speaking directly to it. You had your time. You kept me small. You kept me afraid. You lied to me and told me comfort was safety. You whispered excuses until they became my truth. But your reign ends today. This is your funeral, and I am not here to cry. I'm here to close the lid. Say it out loud if you must. The act of declaring death to your weaker self plants a mental flag. From this moment on, there is no going back. The funeral is not just in your mind. It must happen in your habits. This means burning the bridges to the old patterns that kept the weak self alive. Delete the toxic apps that waste your hours. Remove the unhealthy food that sabotages your discipline. Change the layout of your room if it reminds you of lazy nights and wasted mornings. The weak you thrives in familiar spaces. The strong you needs a new battlefield. If there are people in your life who constantly feed your weak version, those who encourage you to skip the gym, waste time, or play small, then they too must be distanced. It doesn't mean you hate them. It means you are protecting the new you from infection. Think of it as an immune system for your identity. If it's toxic, it doesn't get in. During this funeral, you will feel resistance. Your brain will try to bargain. Maybe I don't have to go all in. Maybe I can keep just a little bit of my old habits. But understand, this is the weak self making its last desperate plea for survival. It knows that once you bury it completely, it loses all control. This resistance is a sign you're doing it right. Perform the ritual. Write down the traits, habits, and behaviors of your weak self on paper. Every lie you told yourself. Every opportunity you let slip. Every time you quit. Then destroy that paper. Burn it, rip it, bury it. Whatever it takes to feel the finality. Physical acts have a way of signaling the brain that something real has ended. When the burial is complete, stand tall. You will feel lighter, not because life has gotten easier, but because you have dropped the dead weight. This is the space where the strong version of you can now breathe. But remember this, the ground you buried the weak self in is still there. If you wander too close, if you dig it back up, you will find yourself wearing that skin again. Guard this grave with your life. From this day forward, the weak version of you exists only as a memory, a warning of what you will never be again. You do not visit the grave. You do not leave flowers. You do not speak its name. You move forward with a relentless commitment to never allow that part of you to rise again. Every morning, you wake up and recommit. The weak me is dead. The strong me lives today. That is the oath that will carry you into the life you are meant to live. Chapter 6. Building the Strong Version. Strength is not something you stumble upon. You don't wake up one morning and find it waiting at the foot of your bed like a gift. Strength is built deliberately, brick by brick, choice by choice. Every action you take is either a hammer that forges the strong version of yourself or a chisel that chips away at it. If you want to build the strong version of you, you must make a conscious decision, every single day, to choose the harder path, the path that demands more effort, more discipline, and more resilience. The weak you wants comfort, the strong you thrives in discomfort. The foundation of strength begins the moment you open your eyes. Waking up early is not about being part of some morning club or following a trend. It's about proving to yourself that you have control over your body and your time. The strong you doesn't hit snooze. The strong you hits the ground running. That first decision of the day sets the tone for everything that follows. Win the morning, and you create momentum that carries into every task, every challenge, and every battle you face. Once you've claimed your morning, you build your strength in the most primal way, through your body. The strong version of you treats training not as an option, but as a non-negotiable. You don't train just to look good. You train to develop the mental toughness that comes from pushing past physical limits. When your muscles burn, when your lungs ache, when you feel like you can't go another rep, that is the moment the weak version of you starts to beg for mercy. And in that moment, you silence it by going further. The way you treat your body doesn't stop in the gym, it extends to what you put in it. The strong version of you does not use food as a crutch, a distraction, or a reward for surviving the day. Instead, food becomes fuel, chosen with intent. Every meal is a vote for your future self. The weak you craves instant pleasure. The strong you thinks long-term, making choices that keep your energy high, your mind sharp, and your body ready for battle. One of the most overlooked building blocks of strength is keeping the promises you make to yourself. When you tell yourself you will wake up early, do it. When you say you will work out, do it. When you promise to finish a task, finish it. Every broken promise erodes trust with yourself. Every kept promise solidifies your identity as someone who does what they say they will do. The weak you thrives on excuses. The strong you thrives on execution. Discipline is the mortar that holds every brick of your strong self together. Without discipline, motivation will fail you. Without discipline, you will crumble the moment life becomes inconvenient. The strong version of you does not wait to feel like doing the work. They do it regardless of mood. Discipline is the bridge between the life you have and the life you want. Every day you practice it, that bridge becomes stronger and harder to burn down. You must also learn to deliberately put yourself in situations that test you. Strength grows in resistance, and without challenge, there is no growth. Seek out discomfort on purpose. Run when you don't feel like running. Speak up when your voice shakes. Tackle the project you've been avoiding. The strong you understands that the pain of discipline is temporary, but the pain of regret lasts forever.
Strength is also mental fortitude. Training your mind to keep going when every cell in your body wants to quit. The strong you doesn't collapse under pressure, they thrive under it. This comes from practice. Reading books that challenge your thinking, engaging in deep conversations, exposing yourself to new skills, and learning to adapt when life changes the rules. A strong mind is one that can face chaos without losing clarity. Building the strong version of you requires patience. Strength does not appear overnight. It is the result of consistent effort, repeated over weeks, months, and years. The weak you wants quick results. The strong you understands the compound effect of small, daily wins. Every workout, every disciplined choice, every promise kept adds another brick to the fortress you are building. One day that fortress will be so unshakable that the storms of life can pound against it and you will not move. Finally, the strong you lives by a simple code. Never regress. Once you've taken a step forward, you guard it like your life depends on it, because it does. You don't let the old, weak habits creep back in. You remain vigilant, knowing that weakness is always waiting for an opportunity to return. Every day you wake up, you recommit to the mission. Kill weakness. Build strength. Repeat. This is how the strong version of you not only comes to life, but stays alive. Chapter 7, Training the Mind to Dominate. The mind is the command center. Every movement, every word, every action begins there. Yet, most people treat their minds like an unlocked house. Any thought, fear, or distraction is free to walk in and take control. If you want to dominate life, you must first dominate your mind. This isn't about thinking positively all the time, that's surface-level fluff. This is about forging a mind that is disciplined, unshakable, and immune to the storms of life. A mind that does not flinch when confronted with fear. A mind that does not break when things go wrong. A mind that can turn chaos into focus. Understand this: the body will always follow the mind. If your mind quits, your body quits. If your mind believes you can endure, your body will find a way to endure. This is why world-class athletes, elite soldiers, and peak performers spend just as much time training their minds as they do their bodies. They know that muscles without mental resilience are useless in the moments that matter most. Your mind has to become your strongest muscle, because when every other part of you wants to stop, it's the mind that decides whether you give in or keep going. One of the most effective tools to train your mind is controlled exposure to discomfort. Most people avoid discomfort like it's poison. But discomfort is the gym for your brain. Cold showers, fasting, early wake-ups, and pushing through one more rep when you want to quit, these are mental push-ups. You're not just enduring pain, you're teaching your brain that discomfort will not break you. The more you practice this, the more your brain rewires itself to stay calm, focused, and unafraid when life throws real challenges your way. Silence is another weapon in the arsenal of mental domination. In a world filled with noise, distraction, and constant stimulation, most people can't stand to be alone with their own thoughts for even 5 minutes. This is a weakness that kills focus. Set aside time every day to be in complete silence. No phone, no music, no distractions. Just you and your thoughts. At first, your mind will wander. It will try to pull you into worries, random memories, and unproductive thinking. That's normal. But with time, you'll train your mind to focus, to cut through the clutter, and to stay present. This skill will make you deadly in a distracted world. Visualization is the rehearsal room of the mind. Every great fighter, CEO, and high performer uses it. Before the battle, they see themselves winning it. They see themselves performing with precision. They see themselves overcoming every obstacle. The brain doesn't know the difference between what you vividly imagine and what you actually experience. That means every time you visualize success with intensity, you are planting seeds in your subconscious, training your mind to move toward that vision. Done consistently, this practice turns goals into inevitabilities. Another critical element of mental training is self-talk. The way you speak to yourself in your head determines the limits of your performance. Weak people feed themselves a steady diet of doubt. I can't do this. I'm tired. I'm not good enough. Strong minds replace those lines with commands. One more rep. Keep moving. I've got this. This isn't empty cheerleading, it's programming. If you tell your brain you're done, your body will agree. If you tell your brain you've got more left in the tank, your body will find it. Every time you override negative self-talk, you strengthen your mental armor. To dominate mentally, you must also control your emotional reactions. Weak minds are slaves to their emotions: anger, fear, jealousy, sadness. Strong minds acknowledge emotions but refuse to be ruled by them. This doesn't mean you become a robot. It means you master the ability to respond, not react. You learn to breathe when others panic, to think when others lash out, to keep moving forward when others freeze. Emotional discipline is rare, but it's one of the most powerful skills in life and business. People trust and follow those who stay calm under fire. Your mental diet is as important as your physical one. Just as junk food poisons the body, junk information poisons the mind. Mindless scrolling, endless news cycles, gossip, and negativity weaken mental resilience. Replace them with books that challenge you, conversations that inspire you, and learning that stretches your thinking. Surround your mind with high-quality inputs, and over time, it will produce high-quality outputs. A strong mind cannot be built on weak fuel. Journaling is an underrated mental training tool. Writing down your thoughts, your struggles, your victories, and your lessons learned forces you to slow down and process your experiences. This builds self-awareness, and self-awareness is the foundation of self-mastery. Through journaling, you see patterns in your thinking and behavior that you might miss in the chaos of everyday life. With that awareness, you can adjust, improve, and sharpen yourself. Every entry is a training session for clarity and focus. Training the mind to dominate is not a weekend project. It's a lifelong commitment. Every single day, you either feed your mental strength or you feed your mental weakness. You have to treat your mind like a warrior treats his weapon, always sharpening it, maintaining it, and testing it in battle. Because here's the truth: Life will test you often when you least expect it. The question is, when that moment comes, will your mind break, or will it command you to rise? The answer depends on the training you do starting today. Chapter 8, Comfort is the Killer. Comfort is seductive. It's the warm bed that keeps you from an early morning run. It's the phone screen that steals your focus when you should be building your future. It's the easy, "I'll do it tomorrow," that slowly becomes, "I'll never do it." Comfort feels safe, but it's a silent executioner. It doesn't stab you in the chest. It drains you slowly until you wake up one day wondering where your energy, drive, and dreams went. The human brain is wired for comfort because, in ancient times, conserving energy meant survival. But in today's world, that same instinct is destroying you. We don't need to save energy to avoid predators anymore. We need to burn it to create greatness. If you let that primitive part of your brain run your life, you'll spend your best years in a loop of eat, scroll, sleep, repeat, while the world passes you by. Comfort kills ambition because it removes the urgency to act. When life is good enough, you stop pushing for amazing. You stop chasing the version of yourself that could dominate in health, wealth, relationships, and purpose. That's why so many people die spiritually before they die physically. They've settled into a life that's easy but empty. Every great success story has one thing in common. Someone chose discomfort over the illusion of safety. The athlete who trains in the rain while everyone else stays home. The entrepreneur who works a second job to fund their dream. The student who studies while their friends party. None of these people were comfortable, but that's why they won. Comfort was never their goal, growth was. Here's the brutal truth. If you seek comfort in the short term, you will live with discomfort in the long term. Skip the workouts now and you'll suffer with poor health later. Avoid hard conversations today, and you'll deal with broken relationships tomorrow. Ignore your finances today and you'll stress over bills for decades. Comfort now often equals pain later. To kill the weak version of yourself, you must reprogram your relationship with discomfort. Stop running from it and start chasing it. Make discomfort your ally. Wake up early not because you're a morning person but because it's hard. Take the stairs instead of the elevator not because you need the exercise but because it's inconvenient. Push yourself into situations that make you sweat, because sweat is the currency of growth. Comfort zones are like invisible prisons. The bars aren't made of steel, they're made of routine. You wake up, do the same things, talk to the same people, think the same thoughts, and expect a different life. The only way out is to willingly walk into the unknown. That's where fear lives, but it's also where freedom begins. If you want to know how comfortable you've become, look at your last week. How many times did you do something you didn't want to do, but needed to? How often did you push past tiredness, boredom, or fear? If the answer is rarely, you're not living, you're maintaining. And maintaining is just a slow form of dying. Here's your challenge. Start making decisions that hurt a little in the moment but pay off later. Say no to the easy meal and cook something healthy. Turn off Netflix an hour earlier and read a book that challenges your mind. Spend a weekend learning a new skill instead of wasting it on distractions. Every time you choose discomfort, you're stabbing the weak version of yourself and feeding the strong one. Remember this: comfort doesn't care about your dreams. It doesn't care about your future. It only cares about keeping you the same. But the same is not why you're here. You're here to evolve, to grow, to conquer. That means living in discomfort until it feels like home. Kill comfort before it kills you, and the strong version of you will rise from the ashes. Chapter 9, Surround yourself with strength. You can be the most disciplined, most determined person in the world, but if you surround yourself with people who live in weakness, that weakness will infect you. It doesn't matter how pure your intentions are, your environment will always shape you more than your intentions. If your daily conversations are filled with complaining, gossip, and excuses, then no matter how hard you work, those seeds will be planted in your mind. And over time they'll take root. The energy around you isn't neutral. It's either pushing you forward or pulling you down. Look at the 5 people you spend the most time with. Are they driven? Are they pushing themselves? Are they chasing bigger goals? Or are they stuck, living in cycles of procrastination and self-pity? You cannot hope to grow strong if you're feeding off the energy of people who have chosen to remain weak. Your circle should be like a forge, hot, intense, and demanding. It should burn away your laziness and sharpen your ambition. If your circle doesn't challenge you, it's not a circle, it's a cage. Weak people will tell you that you're doing too much, that you should slow down, that you're obsessed. They'll disguise it as concern, but in truth, They are uncomfortable with your growth because it forces them to face their own stagnation. When you decide to kill the weak version of yourself, you will also reveal the weakness in others. And here's the truth. Some people would rather you stay small so they can feel comfortable. You have to be ruthless in protecting your growth. Strength attracts strength. When you spend time with disciplined people, something shifts in you. You feel compelled to match their energy. You adopt their habits. You begin to hold yourself to higher standards without even realizing it. That's the power of proximity. It rewires your expectations of what's normal. If everyone around you is working hard, pushing limits, and refusing to quit, you'll start to see those behaviors as the baseline for your own life. Mediocrity becomes unacceptable when excellence is all you see. But here's the catch. Finding strong people isn't always easy. You might have to go out of your way to meet them. You might have to leave behind your old environment entirely. You might have to join communities, attend events, or network with people far outside your comfort zone. It might feel lonely at first, cutting ties with familiar faces who are holding you back, but that loneliness is temporary. The new connections you make will be worth far more than the comfort you left behind. You must also understand that strength isn't only about physical power or career success. A strong person is someone who lives with integrity, takes responsibility for their actions, and refuses to play the victim. It's someone who keeps their word, who honors their commitments, and who is willing to tell you the hard truths you need to hear. These are the people who will not only inspire you but also hold you accountable when you start slipping. You don't need a crowd, you need a few warriors who will fight beside you. Be intentional about what you consume too. Your environment isn't just the people physically around you, it's also the books you read, the videos you watch, and the voices you listen to. If your media diet is full of negativity, gossip, and pointless entertainment, you're still surrounding yourself with weakness. Instead, fill your mental space with strength. Watch people who inspire you, listen to voices that challenge you, and read words that push you to think and act bigger. The weak version of you thrives when it's surrounded by others who validate laziness. The strong version of you thrives when it's surrounded by people who demand more from you than you demand from yourself. This is why mentorship is so important. A good mentor won't let you settle. They'll see your potential and they'll be relentless in pulling it out of you. And when you surround yourself with people like that, it's not just your goals that change, it's your entire identity. You will have to make hard choices. There will be friendships you outgrow. There will be family members you have to limit your time with. There will be moments when you have to walk away from a group you once belonged to. And it will hurt. But you must decide what matters more, keeping people comfortable or keeping yourself strong. Remember this, your mission in life is not to carry the weight of everyone else's comfort. Your mission is to become the strongest version of yourself, no matter the cost. When you finally surround yourself with strength, you'll feel the difference immediately. You'll start thinking bigger, moving faster, and demanding more from yourself without being told. You'll stop seeking validation and start seeking results. You'll realize that this is the environment you should have been in all along. One where weakness is not tolerated, excuses are not accepted, and strength is the only language spoken. And in that environment, the weak version of you doesn't just die, it gets erased from existence. Chapter 10, Living in Kill Mode. Killing the weak version of yourself is not a one-time act. It's not a dramatic cinematic moment where the credits roll and you live happily ever after. No, this is war, and war doesn't end after a single battle. Every single morning, the weak version of you is waiting at the edge of your bed, whispering for you to hit snooze, to take the easy route, to compromise just for today. It's subtle. It's patient. It will never stop trying to come back. That's why kill mode is not an event, it's a state of living. It's a constant awareness that the fight is always on, and if you ever let your guard down, the old you will rise from the grave. Living in kill mode means catching weakness the moment it shows its face. It means recognizing when you start negotiating with yourself, I'll skip the gym just for today, I'll work on that project tomorrow, I've worked hard enough, I deserve a break. Weakness doesn't come waving a flag, it comes disguised as logic, as reason, as self-care. In kill mode, you train yourself to hear those lies and expose them for what they are, an enemy ambush. You learn to respond instantly with action, not debate, because every moment you spend negotiating with weakness is a moment it gains ground. To live in kill mode, you start each day with a declaration, weak me dies again today. This isn't a motivational quote you say once in a while, it's a war cry you repeat until it becomes part of your DNA. You're reminding yourself that this day belongs to the strong version of you. Before you scroll, before you check emails, before you let the noise of the world in, you arm yourself mentally. Because without mental armor, the first hit life throws at you will knock you right back into old habits. Kill mode isn't about saying you're strong, it's about proving it in real time. You kill weakness not by talking about what you'll do tomorrow, but by doing the hard thing right now. The gym session when you're sore. The extra hour of work when you're tired. The uncomfortable conversation you'd rather avoid. Every time you choose discomfort over comfort, you swing the axe at the weak version of yourself. Every rep, every grind, every sacrifice is another shovel of dirt over the coffin you buried it in. Here's the truth, the weak self will always try to come back. It will wait until you're stressed, until you're lonely, until life knocks the wind out of you. That's when it will slip in and whisper, "You've done enough, you deserve to relax, just take it easy." And if you listen, if you give it even one small victory, it will start growing again. In kill mode you remain vigilant. You understand that weakness doesn't die once, it dies every day you choose strength, and it lives every day you feed it. The ultimate goal of kill mode is to make strength automatic. To reach a point where your default reaction to challenge is to lean in, not back away. You want strength to become a reflex, something you don't have to think about. This only happens when you deliberately kill weakness so many times that the strong you becomes the only you. It's repetition, consistency, and discipline over months and years until quitting is no longer an option that even enters your mind. In kill mode there are no 0 days. That means not a single day goes by without doing at least one thing that builds the strong version of you. Even on rest days you train the mind. You read, you plan, you prepare. Because the moment you allow yourself a day of nothing, weakness sees an opening. It's not about being perfect, it's about never letting the score hit 0. Even the smallest victory keeps the weak self buried where it belongs. Kill mode thrives on a simple principle. Seek the pain that builds you. Not pain for the sake of suffering, but the pain that comes from effort, from pushing limits, from refusing to stop when your body and mind beg you to. Weakness feeds on comfort, so the more you choose discomfort, the more you starve it. Whether it's physical pain from training or mental pain from learning a difficult skill, every ounce of struggle is fuel for the strong you. Killing weakness is only half the job, you also have to feed strength. That means surrounding yourself with people, environments, and inputs that reinforce the strong identity. Read books that challenge your thinking. Listen to voices that push you higher. Keep your space clean and organized because chaos breeds laziness. Everything you consume, food, media, conversations, either strengthens you or weakens you. In kill mode you choose every input deliberately. Living in kill mode is not a phase, it's a lifelong oath. You are committing to never allow the weak self to rule your life again. There will be days when you're tired, discouraged, even broken, but those are the days kill mode matters most. Because anyone can be strong when it's easy. True warriors are strong when it's hell. And from this moment on, you don't live like everyone else. You wake up every day, look in the mirror, and know, the weak me is dead. And I will kill it again tomorrow.